Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
The globe. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great grand estate of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is a Thursday, May the 14th in the year of our Lord 2015. As we continue on to the second hour of the fastest 2 hours on internet radio right here on the Rod Eccles Show. The number that you can call to join me live is toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. I think I need to move off of the subject of, well, look, ethics is huge. I don't think it should be able to float with the wind. I know it can be subjective, but let's face it, ethics are based on what is right and what is wrong. And if you start fiddling with what's right and what's wrong, well, your ethics are going to be able to float as well. And you can't have a society that's based on floating morals or mores. It can't stand. You can't make good public policy. You can't make good public law. You can't keep families together. Because somebody might think, look, there is right and wrong in the world, in the universe. There is right and wrong. There is black and white. I believe that there is no gray area. The only reason why we say there's gray area is because, because we might want to do it. And we don't ever want to. It's kind of like, putting it in perspective, it's kind of like a lot of people voted for Obama because they didn't want to be construed as being a racist. Well, that's dumb. Because now you're changing the meaning of the word racist. You're floating it off someplace to where it should not be. So, and it's come back to bite us. So now that every time you disagree with this man, oh, you're a racist. Well, but you try to argue back and say no, because when Bill Clinton put forth these same policies, Hillary Care, Obamacare, I was against Hillary Care and I was against Obamacare. Oh, you're against Obamacare because you're racist. Because you voted for him to prove that you were not a racist, but that in and of itself shows a racial tendency. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then once you did that, you got trapped. Once the country did that, the country got trapped because they successfully shifted the meaning of the word racism to mean that you just, you're against this president, and they shifted it to mean, well, maybe you didn't like Obamacare, and maybe you didn't like Hillary Care even more than you didn't like Obamacare. But you know what? You're racist for not liking it from this president. That's where they shifted it to. And we the people, allowed them to let a few, look, very simple. There are There are a few people, very few people in the whole grand scheme of, the 330 million people in this country, in the grand scheme of who the elite liberals are, who have the voice and dictate the narrative. They're the ones that decided that they were going to shift the meaning of the word racism and racist. And now they've watered it down so and shifted it so far away from its original meaning that it can encompass anything. And they're doing the same thing with sexism and being a sexist. Obama just got slapped. He got slapped in the face. People saying, well, you're a racist, right? You're a sexist because you used her first name. And since when is it construed to be sexist by calling somebody by their first name simply because they're a woman? When the whole reality is you're sexist by saying that to begin with. But that's not where they shifted the narrative and the meaning. They shifted it to say that if you call a woman by her first name, you're a sexist. Well, she has a name, right? If you don't call her by her name, I would assume that that's kind of being rude. That you don't think enough of the person by calling them by their name that their parents gave them. The name that they've used all their life. So now we can't call a woman by her first name because that would be construed as being sexist. You can't oppose Obama's policy because that would mean you're racist. And now we're finding through polls that the reason for all of this is because everybody's mores and morals are now floating. There's nothing is tied down anymore. Everybody, well, no, there's just a bunch of gray areas. No, look, I have never bought into the notion that, there's no right and wrong. There's no black and white. It's all gray. No, there's black and white. That's all there is. Either it's right or it's wrong. Period. Well, Rod, we can always shift what we think is right and what is wrong. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And nations, not just the United States, nations are falling apart because of it. We're seeing the rise of radical Islam because of it. Look, everything in this world is connected. Everything. It's like the old Chinese proverb, a hurricane on one side of the world begins with but a flap of a butterfly's wing on the opposite side. I paraphrase, but you know the saying. There are, it's kind of like, Josh Hartnett, what is it? The Butterfly Effect movie. There are ripples throughout society and throughout time for everything that you do. There are ripples. What you do today will affect you and those who come into contact with you for as long as you live and beyond. You will. It's just a ripple effect. So if you decide that one day, for instance, millennials, we know are putting off marriage, and many of them are just saying, why should I get married? What is marriage? Not even going the whole. They're not even talking about the whole issue of gay rights or gay marriage. No, they're just, why even bother get married? Let's just, we're just animals like the animal kingdom. That's all. We can, it's we still have that double standard. Guy can sleep with multiple girls and, he's a stud. A woman can sleeps with multiple guys and she's a slut. We still have that. But yet, we're finding it less and less offensive for a woman to have multiple children by multiple fathers. Look, that screws up a kid's life. And in turn, that is affecting society. Because now you have all these people that are partially related to one another. You got a woman that has, 4 kids by 4 different baby daddies. Well, those kids are still related, but what happens when this guy does the same thing the woman does? Well, he has 4 kids, but they're by 4 different women. They may not even know, the kids may not even know each other until one day they meet. And maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe they actually, and this is happening. This is starting to happen. Maybe they fall in love and then realize, later on, she's your half sister, son. What? Yeah, I'm her daddy too. But you can't be because she's my mom. Yeah, that's her mom. I was with her before I was with your mom. And now we're starting to say that that's okay. That's okay. Because we're saying, oh, there's no black and white, there's no right and wrong. We can shift our morals any which way that makes us feel good. A just society cannot last and stand for long with floating mores. Never has worked. It has never worked in the history of mankind. There has always had, because you cannot make good, solid public policy and public law based on shifting morals. You just can't. Because eventually, certain things, let me give you an example. This whole case for legalizing pot. Now, granted, I never thought it should have been illegal in the first place for a number of different reasons. Now, I don't smoke the stuff, but I have admitted, yes, I tried it twice in my life, and yes, I did inhale, and I know I inhaled, unlike Bill Clinton, because like most people who do smoke it, from what I understand, I coughed. Like, you like your first drag of a cigarette, you hack up a lung, basically. Well, I did that. And I didn't particularly like that. And I didn't really feel, I don't know what it feels to be high, I guess, on pot. I know what it feels like to be high or drunk on alcohol, but I don't know what it's like to be, I guess, high on pot. So it did nothing for me. So I twice and I was done. That was it. I admit it. But the point is that now we have, it has become illegal. It's been demagogued for decades. And now we have the shifting moray that says, it's not so bad after all. We should legalize it. We should, right? Who's it hurting? Well, it's the same thing can be said of just about anything, folks. Yeah, look, we have these states that were attacked and through the court systems and through the legislature, not through people voting, but some states said, well, yeah, okay, gay marriage, got it. And it happened enough times where some deviants, well, we call them deviants now, started to speak up and are starting to be heard. Well, you know what? If gays can get married, then, it should be okay to have sex with a minor. And indeed, on a daily basis, I see a new story about some female teacher, bedding down her teenage male students. Daily, new one. I go through my news feed for the show 5 days a week, every single day, 5 days a week throughout the entire year that I'm looking, at my news. There is a story of another teacher, female. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's also stories about men who are basically molesting girls. And it was it was consensual. She wanted me to do it, and for the guy's defense and the woman's defense, well, we're in love. We fell in love. He loves me. This is what we're getting. And now that there are people, there are groups out there that say, well, maybe we should lower the age of consent. It should be okay for a 16 or 17-year-old to be able to have sex, legally with their 20-something-year-old teacher or 30-something-year-old teacher. It should be fine. It should be okay that a 50-year-old man should be able to have sex with a 15-year-old boy. That should be fine. Look, you gave homosexuals the right to marry. Why can't we at least have that? You start shifting your mores, and the ripple effect goes down a road you do not want to go. And then before you know it, you find yourself there. You find yourself at a crossroads, and you look back and you say, wow, we actually traveled down this road? And there's a sign right in front of you that says, no U-turn. So you've gotten to a place there is no return. And when you get to a place there is no return, your society starts to decline. All great societies throughout history have gone through it. And we're repeating the same thing. And now it is not just the United States, but this is a Western thing, if you will. When I say Western, look, even countries that weren't traditionally followed traditional Western beliefs and mores, such as China and India, they're starting to find themselves going down these roads. And they don't like it. But the population is starting to demand the shift in mores. And they're starting to float the idea of what is ethical now. It's the ends justify the means. When we used to say the ends do not justify the means, now we're starting to say, well, the ends justify the means. And we even have a major religion out there that says it's okay to lie to an infidel if in the end you're going to glorify Allah. Perfectly okay. Now, if you're the heathen or the infidel, do you want to be lied to? Do you think that's fair? Well, now, evidently you do, because you think, Hillary Clinton is, Chris Christie is less ethical than Hillary Clinton. Chris Christie, man, he had one scandal called Bridgegate. One. Hillary has 3 just from being Secretary of State. Let's not talk about the ones while her husband was governor of Arkansas or president of the United States. Oh, those are, Bridgegate is a bigger scandal than Benghazi or the emails or the IRS or the Clinton Foundation. Yeah, Christie, he's untrustworthy. But I guess Hillary is. Look, I can't accept that. I will not accept that. For the very reason that I do not shift the meaning of words around. I am still back in the good old-fashioned meaning of the word. And if you go by the good old-fashioned meaning of the word ethical, there is no way in hell you can say that Hillary Clinton is ethical. The only way you get there is if you decide to shift the meaning. People who do not like Barack Obama's policies, sure, some of them may actually be racist, but that does not mean that everybody who disagrees with Barack or disagrees with his policies or dislikes his policies are racist. The real meaning of the word, racist. The vast majority who do not like his policies do not like his policies. and they didn't like them under a white president. Get my meaning? Get my drift? Get it? Got it? Good. And this leads into this next item. The 2016 Senate map is now quite shaky for Republicans. Now, look, I told you people this. When the Republicans gain the majority in the Senate, I said they better stick to their guns and do what they say that they were going to do, or the American people were going to have a hissy fit again and throw them out of office. And God forbid that they do that and put the Democrats back in control. Because, if you're going to be a liberal, you might as well be a Democrat, because you can't out-liberal a liberal. Just not going to happen. So you Republicans out there that think, well, maybe, we should be more liberal and move more towards the center. No, you can't out-liberal a liberal. Don't even try. You can't moderate liberalism. Look, liberals today are not what liberals were back during, like, say, John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy would be construed as a conservative today by liberal standards. So you can't out-liberal a liberal. So when anybody goes to if they want a liberal, they're going to go for the genuine article, not a rhino. So and this is the problem, because the Senate they have the power, just like the House, they have the power to do, the president is going to veto it. Let him veto it. Just pass the damn bills and put them on his desk. I mean, you guys are failing to do that. And so, yes, you're going to find that some Republican senators who were probably thought of being a lock before might be in trouble now, because they're not doing what they said they were going to do that got them elected in the first place last year. I mean, look, this should have been a slam with Obama and his approval numbers, really his true approval numbers in the tank, and Hillary Clinton being who Hillary Clinton is, and her approval numbers actually the real ones being in the tank. It should be a slam dunk that we get another Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican president. The problem is that the American people, because of shifting mores, have been lied to so often, so much, by even the Republicans, that they don't trust anybody. And, I can't say that I really blame them. Not really. But here's a story, and this is from townhall.com. Now, Charlie Cook of the Cook Political Report isn't necessarily all doom and gloom on Republican chances of holding the Senate, but he isn't all that positive either. And I got to tell you, I agree with Charlie. I'm not all that positive anymore. As it was in 2014, it's all about the candidates. And if Democrats can find solid folks to run in New Hampshire and Pennsylvania, in my own home state, Kelly Ayotte is up, and the liberals are smelling blood in the water. And let's face it, Kelly, Ayotte hasn't gone as liberal as some other senators have who are up for a re-election. But it's enough. It's enough. I mean, we'll continue this when I get back, folks.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
You know, the Republicans had better wake up, and they better wake up quick. because they could find themselves back in the minority just 2 years after taking the majority. And, looking across the political landscape, I cannot find a problem with Cook's report, with Charlie Cook. Here's in my state. Look, we have Kelly Ayotte, who is up for re-election. Now, a lot of people might say, but she's got high approval numbers in your state, Rod. People like her. Here's the problem. We have a very popular governor who will have to decide either because our governor's term here in this state is only 2 years. That's right, not 4. It's 2. So our popular Democratic liberal governor, Maggie Hassan, is going to have to decide, does she want to still be governor, in which case she will probably get another term if she runs for governor. Or does she dip her foot in national politics and challenge Ayotte? Now, if she does that, now you're talking woman and woman, a female to female here, you're talking a battle royale is coming if Maggie Hassan decides that she wants Ayotte's seat. Now, personally, I don't like Hassan, really. I really don't. There are a number of reasons why I don't like her. She's a liberal Democrat, plain and simple, which is really kind of strange. It's not. Look, this is understand. This is a state that gave us a governor as a senator before who was a woman, and she's not up for re-election this time. And, last election season, 14, the Republicans thought they'd be, kind of sly and slick and give us Mitt Romney to run against her. It didn't work out. And Romney's got it. No, I knew Romney didn't have a chance. I knew, look, even though I was for Romney, I promoted Romney, I voted for Romney, I knew he didn't have a chance. He wasn't going to win. So when the numbers came in, I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed. Disappointed that I was right, but I wasn't surprised. Now, if it's a Hassan-Ayotte political fight, all bets are off. If the Democrats put up somebody else against Ayotte, it's for one reason and one reason only, that they believe that the seat is Ayotte's to have, and that they're not going to be able to unseat her. But if Hassan decides that, well, she's not invincible like Clinton, Hillary, I can take her seat. Believe me, you will see huge Democratic money coming into that fight. It will be a toss-up. It will be a nail-biter. And at this particular juncture, I could not tell you with certainty that Ayotte would prevail. In fact, it's highly possible that my fear of a Hassan victory could come true. Just tell. And this guy, I have said that before to people in this state. And this guy he says I'm right. Well, I mean, he didn't ask me and say, oh, yeah, you're right, Rod. But basically, he's backing me up on this. See, the Cook Political Report puts 2 Republican-held seats in the toss-up category. Now, the open seat in Florida, Rubio's seat, because he's not doing a John McCain. His open seat in Florida, and Kirk in Illinois. And that toss-up column will certainly grow, says the Cook Political Report, as the recruiting season progresses. If Democratic Governor Maggie Hassan challenges current Senator Ayotte in New Hampshire, and if former Democratic Senator Kay Hagan runs against Republican Senator Richard Burr in North Carolina, and for, can you say retread, if former Democratic Senator Russ Feingold decides he wants to stage a rematch with Johnson in Wisconsin, all of those races would become toss-ups. And that's sad to say. And the only reason that that is possible and plausible for most of those potential races is the very fact that people are upset with you Republicans in the Senate right now. Because you're not doing enough. You're capitulating and compromising your principles way too much, way too often, and giving the Democrats basically what they want. And that's not what the American people sent you, in your district, sent you there to do. They wanted you to stop Obama. They wanted you to put him on notice. They wanted you to force him to veto. How many times has the man, in 6 years, has he used a veto pen from a Republican-led bill, approved bill? Look, do we really want to go back to the Harry Reid era in the Senate where nothing actually gets done because he's going to block anything that comes out of the House? I'm telling you, you got to stop the shifting mores. You got to stop, because the shifting mores stuff isn't coming from the general population of the American people. Yeah, we're being forced to accept stuff that we really don't want to accept. We're being forced, and it's being forced by very few people who are demanding that laws be passed, and they're demanding that courts, they take things to court, and they demand that these judges rule in their favor, and the rest of us are just forced to have to go along by fiat, because it's now law. Hey, you're a Christian. You're not allowed to turn down a gay couple. You're a Christian baker. You're not allowed to turn down a gay couple for their wedding. No, you got to bake them the cake. That was unheard of. Do you think John F. Kennedy, if the John F. Kennedy liberals were around today, do you think that this would happen? Absolutely not. Do you possibly think that if the Republicans had a backbone and stood up to all this stuff, that the mores would be shifting so far to the left so fast? Absolutely not. And this is why look, they're repeating the same mistakes over and over again. They're not learning their lesson. This is why we also have to get rid of the rhinos who are in the leadership of the Republican Party, because they're not only dragging the party down, they're dragging this country down with them. Plain and simple. They're dragging us all down. And if you want to use a Judeo-Christian perspective, look, they're dragging us into the pits of hell. This once shining beacon of light and hope of freedom around the world is dimming, and it's dimming fast, folks. I'm not one who's a pessimist. I'm an eternal optimist, but I gotta tell you, I'm also a realist. The reality is this is happening now. And this is the kind of stuff that we've got to elect people who will stand up to Obama, who will stand up to the liberals, who will stand up to the Democrats, who will stand up to the lamestream media and say no. It's kind of like that 70s movies, the 70s movie, the movie from the 70s called Network. There's a scene in it. It's one of the more famous movie lines of all time. I'm mad as hell and I won't take it anymore. And that's what the American people have to finally do. And in order to do that, you got to stop electing the same people. Yeah, I mean, Russ Feingold, come on. The man lost by a considerable amount, really, for a long time politico like him and a liberal. In a fairly liberal state. And the state got turned around by Republicans there. So the notion that they would return to a man who helped throw their state into chaos from the national scene is pretty alarming. Then this guy actually thinks that hey, I got a shot. I got a shot again. I'm going to go after this guy. He beat me once. He's not going to beat me again. Can you imagine what would happen to Governor Walker, the other state Republicans, and to the Senate if Russ Feingold was reelected to the Senate? Now, think about that for a second. Now, what if the Democrats all of a sudden decide to start trotting out some retreads? You know, some people that were defeated in the last election for that particular seat or a while ago, and they started winning. Do you think that's going to move the country forward, or do you think it's going to actually go back to a different time that we didn't like in the first place? It's going to set us back. Because these people haven't changed. They haven't changed their ideas or their policies. They're still the same. They don't need to change. They just wait. There's nobody, you know who's patient and you know who's impatient? Let me tell you who's patient. Liberals are patient. They've been trying for 50 or 60 years to get to this point. They're patient. They took it one step at a time. You know who's impatient? Conservatives. It took us 50 or 60 years to get to this point. And conservatives, they want to reverse that trend and turn it back within a 2-year cycle, election cycle. Do it now. Well, one, you're not going to do it now. You're going to have to be patient just like they were and do it a step at a time. And two, you have to elect the right people who are going to pursue that one step at a time. And so you'll start to see progress. It's kind of like the Bush thing. No, Bush was not the conservative that a lot of conservatives wanted. He was not. But you know what? He was a step in the right direction after Clinton. And so what did the American people do? Instead of building on that, and I know the Republicans gave us a rhino in the form of John McCain, but let's face it, McCain would have still been a small step forward instead of 10 steps backwards that we got with Obama. And then when Mitt Romney was Mitt Romney's turn, again, we had the opportunity to at least step forward again. Oh, no. Yeah, no, he was not the conservative that was going to change everything over. As soon as he walked into office, it was going to be conservative. No, he wasn't conservative enough, so that wasn't going to happen, so I'm going to sit at home. And again, we reelected a guy who took us another 10 steps backwards. So now we're in a bigger hole now than we were 2 years ago. And I guarantee you that conservatives are going to say, okay, now we got this huge hole. It's all or nothing now, folks, all or nothing. We're not looking for baby steps. That's the problem. We say we're not looking for baby steps, yet we keep reelecting people like Mitch McConnell and John Bonnier, who aren't even taking baby steps. But you're going to think that those people are going to give you the giant leap forward that you're demanding. And they're not even willing to take baby steps. They don't have the backbone to take the baby steps. This is why those seats are in jeopardy. Because what the Democrats are going to do is they're going to give us some big names to challenge these seats in these districts, and they're going to rely on you, the conservative and the Republicans, doing what you did with Mitt Romney. Keeping your little tired, grumpy butt at home and not going to the poll. They're going to rely on it. Because, look, when Obama won his reelection, I can guarantee you they did not expect so many of you to stay at home. They were hoping some of you would, just enough to give Obama the edge. They didn't realize how frustrated that you were with your own party, and how big of a win Obama could get by all of you staying home. And I hear the same damn thing being repeated today. Well, if this guy isn't the nominee, I'm not voting. Like, are you out? Are you kidding? Did you not learn from the last two elections, presidential elections? Evidently not. And now what the Democrats are going to bank on is that is going to bleed over into state Senate races. And let me tell you something. In these soon-to-be hotly contested areas, if you people stay home, the Democrats are going to win back the Senate. And then you're going to be upset like all get out because nothing is getting done, just like the previous 2 years. And you're just going to think, well, geez, these people can't do anything. Look, you get the government you deserve. And you deserve the government that you elect. And let's face it, if you sit at home and don't vote, then whenever government is elected, you elected. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. If you do not vote, it is the same thing as casting your vote for the winner, no matter who that winner of the election is. You can't sit out. You can't. If you have to hold your nose and vote for somebody, then that is what you have to do because it is going to take step by step, baby steps. You are not going to ever get a giant leap. The hole is too deep. You gotta go. It's going to take a ladder. You can't jump out of the hole. You're going to have to climb up that ladder rung by rung out of that hole. And if you don't do it, the hole is going to get too deep that no ladder is going to be big enough to get us out. Look, like I said, I'm a realist. I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. I'm optimistic that people will wake up and do the right thing and vote for at least a few of the right people so we can take one rung at a time, so maybe by the time the next presidential election comes along, we will have, gained 5 of those steps of the 20 steps we lost. That's progress. But if you're expecting, if we're 20 steps backwards, and if you're expecting that in order, even if your guy is elected, if you were expecting, let me just pick Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz wins the nomination and he wins election. If you are expecting a 30-step leap, you are kidding yourself. It's not going to happen with Ted Cruz either. None of them. You're not going to get the leap that you think you deserve. Because what you deserve is baby steps, seeing how you let the Democrats take us by baby steps into this deep hole. Yeah, look, again, being a realist, and I'm honest about it, we, the American people, have dug this hole because we're the ones that elected these people. And you can try to blame all the media, you can blame this, you can blame that. When it comes right down to it, you're the voter, you're the one responsible, you're the one that pulls the levers or writes on the ticket. Nobody else. Well, it's all the ads, man. They're just negative and they don't really tell. Well, go looking. Go search out some information. It's not hard to do with the internet today. Not hard to do. I do it daily. You don't even have to do it daily. Just pick a half hour, on the weekend. I got other things to do. Well, I don't know if you do not think that your future and your child's future and your grandchildren's future is important. If you think, riding the motorcycle or going to the beach or something instead of spending just a half hour a week, if you think watching that latest edition of Scandal or whatever the top TV program is more important, then fine, then you're going to get what you deserve. Like we have gotten what we deserve. Plain and simple. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, folks. I think it's a disgrace that we can get to the point where a person like Russ Feingold can actually believe that he can get into the race and win back a seat that he handedly lost. That's mind-boggling to me. I mean, the guy should have been so humiliated to say, well, I guess my political career is done. I should be done. I'm not going to win it. I could never win it again. I'm done. The voters have spoken. But for him to even consider and talk about coming back should scare the hell out of everybody across this country, not just Wisconsin. I don't know how else to say it. It is, well, yeah, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, and it's probably not what it should be. Washington Times is reporting that China is going to sell Jordan missile-firing drones after Obama refuses to help one of our Middle East allies. Hey. No, we're trying to fight this ISIS thing over here, Mr. President. Can you give us some help? Nope, can't do it. So now China is stepping up and increasing their influence in the region where we don't want them to have much influence. But China's offering, look, we're having enough trouble with Russian influence. China's offering to sell Jordan missile-firing drones to fight the Islamic State terror army, according to a U.S. congressman. He said, I am now aware that China is presently in Jordan to discuss operations, logistics, and maintenance associated with the urgent sale of weaponized unmanned systems, said Representative Duncan Hunter from California. Now, Representative Hunter has pressed the Obama administration to no avail to approve the sale of Predator unmanned surveillance aircraft to the Kingdom of Jordan, and to no avail. So yeah, let the Chi-Coms get a foothold in the Middle East, and then instead of just dealing with Russia, now you're going to have to deal with another Red Army. Yeah, that's a brilliant move, Mr. President. Do you want another president or more senators who have an absolutely terrible view of what the world is really like, and to foist a foreign policy that is absolutely and completely detrimental to the future of the United States of America? No, this is what you're going to get. You keep electing these people. This is exactly what you are going to get. People are still trying to doubt me. I'm telling you, don't ever doubt me, because I'm hardly, if ever, wrong. See you tomorrow, folks. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.